The Stories of Vikramaditya -1. The story of the gem-studded throne found in the forest. In times gone by, the city of Ujjain shone like the crown of the world. That city, brimming with silken banners that seemed to kiss the azure sky, moonlit terraces, stately mansions, clock towers, ivory stupas, pleasure gardens, spacious and enchanting thoroughfares, pavilions of romance, and a myriad of captivating wonders, bustled with vibrant life at all hours, appearing truly like a city of pure magic. Since that metropolis was ruled by King Bhoja, a monarch who never swerved from the path of righteousness, it also bore the name Dharmpuri. As King Bhoja reigned with his eyes and heart constantly fixed upon the welfare of his subjects, the name of that emperor became renowned throughout the world. Nithi Vakya, who served as Bhoja's prime minister, also ensured that righteousness flourished within the city of Ujjain. In those days, ferocious animals from the neighboring forest region frequently intruded into the settlement. Not only did they torment the people, but they also killed and carried away their livestock, such as goats, cattle, and chickens. Aware of the hardships faced by his subjects, King Bhoja one day marched forth with his fourfold army and went hunting, accompanied by his ministers and chief officials. They reached the wilderness and hunted ferocious animals such as tigers, lions, and bears. The time arrived when the sun neared its zenith. The scorching heat beat down intensely. The troops, too, had grown weary. He wished to halt the hunt and take his rest. As the retinue and the crowned king scoured the four directions, seeking water to quench their thirst and shade to alleviate their weariness, they came upon a field of pearl millet that was flourishing in abundance. With trees bearing spreading, dense branches encircling it, and mature millet stalks laden with grain standing at its center, the field captivated the king's heart completely. That field belonged to a Brahmin named Sarvanpattan. To prevent birds from pecking at and devouring the ripened grain, he built a watchtower in the center of the field, climbed atop it, and sat there. Whenever flocks of birds descended upon the grain, he would hurl stones to drive them away. On that day, Sarvanpattan was seated upon the platform. He felt a pang of pity as he watched the king and his retinue approaching, weary from the hunt, their faces darkened with fatigue. From his perch atop the platform, Sarvanpattan called out, "Welcome, welcome. You must be utterly exhausted from the hunt. Look, this entire millet field belongs to me. It is laden with ripened grain. Sweet fruits hang here in clusters, and there are tender cucumbers as well. Please, feel free to enter the field with your retinue and eat your fill to appease your hunger. The dried millet stalks can be given to the horses. This is indeed a rare privilege for me. That the King of Kings should be my guest today is truly the fruit of my deeds in a past life," he invited with heartfelt warmth. Upon hearing his words, King Bhoja gathered his retinue and entered the millet field. The warriors, suffering from hunger, began breaking off the grain heads and eating them. A short while later, Sarvanpattan, who had been perched on the platform, climbed down to shoo away the birds. Upon seeing the warriors accompanying the king snapping off the pearl millet ears and devouring them, making loud crunching sounds as they did so, and observing the horses grazing on the stalks, a sudden surge of rage welled up within the Brahmin. He rushed toward the king. "O King Bhoja, what is the meaning of this? Is there absolutely no sense of propriety left? Is it truly you, the one who never deviates from the path of justice, who has stooped to such a despicable act? Do you not realize that you and your entourage are destroying the millet field of a poor Brahmin? You have utterly ruined my entire income for the year. When others cause harm, the people can turn to you, their leader, to seek redress. But when the king himself, who ought to be their protector, like a fence guarding a field, is the one inflicting the harm, to whom then shall I turn to voice my grievance? There's a wise adage that asks, who possesses the power to restrain a rogue elephant, a ruler who strays from the path of righteousness, or a scholar who commits a transgression? Moreover, you are one who has mastered all the scriptures of justice. Yet, despite this, you yourself are destroying the property of a Brahmin. It is said that a Brahmin's wealth constitutes the true poison. Ordinary poison pales in comparison to a scholar's wealth. It is that wealth itself, the scholar's property, that is the true poison. For ordinary poison can kill only the one who consumes it, whereas a scholar's wealth, if misappropriated, will destroy not only the usurper's own progeny but their descendants as well, will it not? Surely, you are well aware of this, pleaded Sarvanpattan. His words inflicted anguish upon the king's righteous heart. The very next moment, King Bhoja departed, taking his retinue with him. At this juncture, Sarvanpattan climbed back up and took his seat. Upon seeing the king and his entourage leaving the grove, Sarvanpattan suddenly let out a loud shout once again. "O king, why do you depart? Has your hunger been sated so soon? Your very countenance reveals that the exhilaration of the hunt has not yet fully subsided. Dine to your heart's content, then lie down in the shade and rest. It is not right for a guest who has come to one's home to leave without partaking of a meal," said Sarvanpattan, earnestly urging the king to stay. Bhojrabhujan was utterly astonished. While he was atop the watchtower, that man perceived our plight and, to appease our hunger, invited us to pluck and eat the meal at ears. Yet, the moment he descended from the tower, that noble sentiment which had arisen in his heart vanished. Alas! Base thoughts, the fear that his field would be ruined, and sheer selfishness took precedence. Now, having climbed back onto the tower, he looks on with regret as we, who were invited to partake in a feast, turn away to leave. This is truly bizarre. It seems this is a peculiar phenomenon unique to this very spot. We, too, must climb up into that watchtower and see for ourselves. Thinking thus, the king approached Sarvanpattan and ascended the watchtower. The moment he set foot upon the steps and ascended, an unperturbed tranquility took up residence within the heart of the man born to embrace the world. Everyone must be liberated from suffering, the world must be saved from perishing in the clutches of poverty, wrongdoers must be punished, and the virtuous must be protected. The citizenry must be governed with righteousness and virtue. Such noble thoughts arose in the heart of King Bhoja. In short, at that moment, the king would have been ready to sacrifice even his own life had anyone asked for it. What a beautiful backyard this is! What is the mystery behind its power to evoke noble thoughts within the heart? Do not oil in water, secrets with a spy, a small gift to a deserving person, and knowledge with a sharp intellect spread of their own accord? What, then, is the way to uncover the mystery of this grove? Reflecting thus, King Bhoja turned to Sarvanpattan and, in a gentle voice, said, "O learned man, your grievance is indeed just. You must sustain yourself throughout the entire coming year using the income derived from this plot of land. Unmindful of this, and in the days of hunger, I entered it along with my retinue. As recompense for this, I shall purchase this plot from you at a fair price. Please feel free to state whatever it is that you desire. O king, you are omniscient, you know precisely what is to be done and what is to be avoided. You may determine the value of this plot of land yourself. Indeed, one could aptly compare you to Lord Mahavishnu. Just as poverty and suffering vanish without a trace the moment they fall under his benevolent sidelong glance, so too are you hailed as a Kalpakavriksha, a wish-fulfilling tree. While one cannot behold the Supreme Lord in person, you, sire, are a living deity manifest before our very eyes. My hardships and sorrows vanished the very instant I set eyes upon you. Under such circumstances, is this mere plot of land of any great consequence?" Sarvanpattan submitted humbly. Delighted by his words, King Bhoja bestowed upon him numerous gifts, wealth, and grants of land in exchange for that plot, thereby claiming the land as his own. The very next day, he dispatched his royal officials to excavate the spot where the watchtower had stood. Accordingly, men excavated and examined the earth. As they dug deep into the soil, a beautiful throne adorned with 9 gems came into view, accompanied by a resounding thud. Filled with boundless joy, Bhoja ordered further excavation on all sides. There, they discovered a golden throne, inlaid with 9 precious gems and featuring beautiful figurines upon its 32 steps. King Bhoja's joy knew no bounds. Even as he stood at the very spot where the throne lay buried, noble sentiments welled up within his heart. He mused on how, were he to sit upon that wondrous, gem-encrusted throne and govern the kingdom, he would become an embodiment of virtues, shining forth across the entire world. Driven by this fervent desire, the king descended into the pit and gave orders to hoist the throne to the surface. His men joined forces and attempted to lift the throne. The throne did not budge from its place. The mighty and valorous king was at a loss for what to do. He looked at Nithivakya, his minister, who stood nearby. Chief Minister, asked King Bhoja, what is the reason that this gem-studded throne refuses to move from its spot? O king, this throne, which lay buried beneath the earth, belongs to an ancient era. It is imbued with divine power. Any attempt we make to retrieve it without performing the appropriate rituals and worship will yield no result, said the Minister of Justice. Immediately, the king summoned the royal priests and requested them to perform the necessary rituals and ceremonies for the throne. Only after this did the throne move from its resting place. Upon witnessing this, the king addressed his Minister of Justice, saying, initially, it seemed to me that the throne would not be easily attainable. However, now, by acting in accordance with your counsel, I have been able to retrieve the throne. Thus, cultivating friendship with the wise is not only beneficial but also truly excellent. At that moment, the Minister of Justice looked at the king and said, O crowned monarch, listen. No matter how brilliant a person may be, if he fails to heed the counsel of others, he is destined for ruin. You, however, are different. Although you possess great wisdom yourself, you gave ear to my counsel in this matter. That is precisely why no endeavor you undertake ever proves futile or in vain. Then King Bhoja spoke once again, O wise minister, he alone is a true minister who, foreseeing impending dangers, prevents the ruler from straying onto unrighteous paths and guides him along the path of righteousness. Yes, your majesty. The chief minister must always be intent upon the well-being of the head of his kingdom. The Minister of Justice began to expound upon various truths. A kingdom without ministers, a fortress without a storehouse to stockpile provisions, good fortune unaccompanied by the youth to enjoy it, asceticism devoid of wisdom, a sense of righteousness among deceivers, true love among courtesans, friendship among the base-minded, freedom among beautiful women, anger in a poor man, fury directed at a servant, intimacy with a nobleman, the home of a beggar, purity in a fickle-minded woman, honor among thieves, and progress among fools, all these are utterly futile. Furthermore, a ruler must honor the elders and seek their counsel. He must revere the divine and those who uphold righteousness, and he must steer his life along a virtuous path. Moreover, all the noble qualities traditionally attributed to a king are found within you. Thus, you shine forth as the King of Kings. Furthermore, the individual appointed as a minister must hail from a reputable family and possess exceptional competence. He must be well versed in Kamandaki's Nitisra, Chanakya's Arthashastra, and the Panchatantra. Moreover, he should be deeply committed to the welfare of the citizens, possess the ability to effectively guide his fellow ministers, understand the necessity of conducting himself in accordance with the king's temperament, and be capable of safeguarding the throne from adversity. Additionally, only one who embodies the virtues of exemplary domestic life is truly fit to serve as a minister. Was not King Nanda saved from the sin of Brahmahatya, the killing of a Brahman, through the aid of his minister, Bahusruta? With this rhetorical question, the Minister of Justice concluded his statement. How did that come to pass? Narrate that story to me in detail, requested King Bhoja. In response, the Minister of Justice replied, O Lord of the realm, I shall indeed recount that tale, please listen. And thereupon began the story.